Last week we introduced the losing trick count. Let's review losing trick count. In each suit, we look at just the first three cards: Ace, King, Queen. And if we only have a one card or two card suit, we will look at just the Ace for the one card suit, or for a two card suit, we look at the top two cards. Each of those cards we're missing counts as a loser. So, for example, if we have Ace, King, Queen, and even if we have Ace, King, Queen 4th or 5th or 6th or 7th, doesn't matter. We only look at the first three cards in that suit. And if we have all three of them, we count that as no loser. Let's say we have Ace, King, and another card, or Ace, Queen, and another card, or King, Queen, and another card. All of these we count as one loser. And then if we have just the Ace, just the King, or just the Queen, count that as two losers. Yep. Now, our author, the one who's popularized the losing trick count, who's Ron Klinger, suggests this slight adjustment, that if we have a Queen high suit and we don't have the Jack or the 10, so anything Queen 9 or worse, we actually will count that as 2.5 losers. Okay, and then if we have three little cards, even if they're Jack high, we count that as 3 losers. And we can move on to one card holding. So if we have Ace, King, that's no losers. If we have the Ace without the King, even if it's Ace, Queen, hi Lynn, that's one loser. And if we have the King without the Ace, that's also one loser. And then anything worse, even if it's Queen high, we'll count that as 2 losers. And for our one card holdings, if it's an Ace, it's no loser. And if it's a King or worse, all of this is 1 loser. And of course, a void counts as no losers. Okay, so let's put that into practice a little bit, and let's count our losers on these two hands. In spades, we have 2 losers. In hearts, 2. Yeah, we only count the top 3 cards. So even though it's 4, even though we might lose 4 tricks, the reason for that is that we don't count the 4th card is because if we have 4 cards in a suit, and last week I mentioned losing trick count is really only useful when we have a trump suit or when we have a trump fit. So if we have 4 cards in a suit, whether it's XXXX or Ace, King, Queen X, either partner has 4 cards in that suit or they don't. If partner has 4 cards in that suit, then we expect the opponent's cards to split 3-2, and the 4th card is actually a winner, not a loser. And if partner doesn't have 4 cards in that suit, we expect to be able to rough out that 4th card. So in either case, the 4th card is not a loser. That's why we only look at the top 3 cards in each suit. So here, 4 to the King counts as 2 losers. What about diamonds? 1 loser. And what about clubs? 3 losers. So this is a total of 8 losers. What about this other hand here?
Why only 3?
Because
Ace king queen.
yeah, we only look at the top 3 cards. You know, when you're planning the play, so the losing trick count and the counting your losers when you're planning the play are different. Like when you're planning the play and you see these clubs and you say, well, I got to take care of those clubs. That's 4 losers for that purpose. But for purposes of the losing trick count, I'm going to count 3.
Well, you're going to be trumping those, so how can you count those as losers?
Right. So for the losing trick count, you don't count them as losers because you expect to be able to trump them. Or at least you expect to be able to trump the 4th one. You can't see partner's hand yet. What about this hand?
0.
Mm-hmm.
1 in spades.
1 in spades, hearts,
1.
1,
3.
diamonds 3, and clubs
1.
1. So 6 losers. Okay. What we'll normally find is that an opening hand typically has 7 losers. Sometimes it's a little worse, sometimes it's a little better because the losing trick count and high card points don't always match up perfectly. The losing trick count, of course, counts this singleton as just as good as an ace king, whereas for high card points, ace king is worth 7 points, and for dummy points, this is only worth 3 points for point count purposes. So they're going to come to different conclusions once in a while. But typically, an opening hand has about 7 losers, and a minimum responding hand typically has 9 losers. And there's a formula in Ron Klinger's book to convert losers between you and your partner to a number of tricks. I don't really use that formula. All I remember is that 2 opening hands opposite each other is worth a game, just like in standard point counting. So if you have an opening hand, your partner has an opening hand, that is enough for a game. So if we have a little bit better of an opening hand, we would have 6 losers. And if our partner had a little bit better responding hand, we would expect 8 losers. Now, look at these 2 hands together as a partnership, and what contract would you like to be in if you were able to see both hands?
Spades.
4 spades. Yeah, and if we count points, how many points is this hand worth?
16.
Yeah.
16, 17.
So we have 13, is it 13 high card points?
Oh.
And then 2 more for the singleton, or 1 more for the 5th spade, so we can't count both. 2 from the singleton is about 15 points. Here, what's this hand worth?
7.
7. Now, when you're supporting, when you're supporting your partner, so when you're dummy, you count dummy points. When you're supporting your partner, you count 1 for a doubleton, 3 for a singleton, and 5 for a void. But if you're the primary hand, if you're going to be the master trump hand, like spades here is going to be the trump suit, you only count 2 for a singleton and 3 for a void. Because the singleton in your hand is a little bit less valuable, because when you trump with one of these spades, you're trumping with a winner. And so when you trump 1, you still only have 5 tricks because you've gotten rid of one of your spades and you still have 4 left. When you trump over here, you get rid of one of your spades from dummy, but you still have 5 left, so you've gained a trick. So trumping in the shorthand gains a trick, trumping in the longhand doesn't gain a trick. And that's why we count more points for dummy shortness than we do for declarer shortness. So
Mike, you also count an extra point for the fourth trump in responders hand?
no, we don't count distribution at the same time we don't count shortness and length in the same hand. The fourth trump is a nice asset. It just doesn't rate on the point scale. It does help you make you more comfortable that this is worth the full 3 points, though. So, I mean, maybe in your own variation of the point scale, you would add another point, but in standard bridge books, they wouldn't add a point for that.
You wouldn't get 3 points for that singleton? Once you know your.
Oh, yeah, 3. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, so that makes our total points 8 and 15, 23 points. So if you're just used to counting points, you wouldn't want to bid a game with this because the recommended value is 26 for a game. But counting losing tricks, we have 8 in this hand and 6 in this hand. Both of those are 1 trick better than a minimum opening and a minimum response. So a minimum opening, minimum response usually makes 2. So if you're 2 tricks better than that, it seems like you should be able to make 4. And that pans out in this particular hand. And then we'll go up one more step on the ladder. So a very good opening hand is worth about 5 losers. So in general, if your partner opens and you have 7 losers, you want to force the game. If you open, your partner responds, and you have 5 losers, you usually just want to bid a game. It's here at the value of 6 and the value of 8 that you want to invite.